I think what I'll miss the most about being here at SLU Law is being with the people that I've met. And it's not even just my class, it's people in classes below me, and I already miss the people that have graduated before me because they've really become my family. The experiences here with them have changed me and changed them into better people.
Obviously the camaraderie, you know, there's never going to be another time in my life, I think, when I can just show up somewhere and get candy and talk to people and hang out and, you know, have a lot of fun without, you know, work hanging over us or anything. In a broader sense, I guess I'll miss law school in general in that, you know, this is also the last time when you'll actually get to sit and kind of reflect on big picture type stuff.
I've really enjoyed my experience here, and I'm really seriously sad that it's coming to an end. I didn't think it would go by so quickly. I think in the beginning I thought, will this end? And I've come to find out it actually ends all too quickly.
Barristers is a lot of fun every year. Even some of the impromptu events like the ping pong tournament, that's always a good time, especially when you win every year. And the Pilg auction was a great time. It was really well put together, and it's raised money for a really good cause.
Oh, I'm gonna miss softball and just kind of hanging out with everybody. Our team won the championship our 3L year. I went to the Pilg auction all 3 years and barristers, so I've been to everything, but softball is probably the most fun. I had fun at all of them. I'm gonna miss being able to go to happy hour at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with my friends since we'll all be working.
Before I even came to SLU Law, after I decided I wanted to come here, admissions put me into contact with Professor Rollins. She called me on the phone and she actually offered to meet me for coffee. She really solidified the reasons that I wanted to come here.
I really enjoyed common law, both 1 and 2. I took with Professor Williams and Professor Walker. They were very knowledgeable. Professor Walker's dry sense of humor was really funny. I kind of had that sense of humor too, so it's kind of cool seeing that. And taking a bunch of classes with him was really nice. Crim Pro too with Professor Ray. He took more of a practical approach to the class, which I really liked. Obviously, he's an assistant U.S. attorney, so that was really cool.
I want to give a shout out to Dean Barris, who is our Dean of Students, that has really been a person here clearly at the law school who cares about every single individual student. He's really helped me to kind of chart my course here and to stay on track. I also want to say that Professor Ammon in the civil clinic, who heads up our civil clinic, is an amazing human being. He is so hardworking, and the cases he takes on are pretty amazing. And I was very privileged to work with him.
It was my first week here, and I went to this community forum. While I was there, I got to meet Cornell West, and it was really amazing. However, I'm sitting outside, and across from me is this tall, lanky guy with a weird haircut, and it happened to be Professor Brendan Roediger. And it was just amazing to sit down and talk to him because I thought he was just a regular person, like a regular St. Louisan, I guess that's the term. He was just very knowledgeable and really understood some of the issues that St. Louis was going through. This was around the 1-year anniversary of the Michael Brown incident, and it was amazing to just see someone who was so down to earth, who really understood what was happening, and who was also a professor and was tattoos and just really, really fun. And he's been a huge support for me throughout my time at SLU Law, so I wouldn't be graduating if it wasn't for him. It just gave me such solace to know that my school also cares and hires professors and staff who care.
One of the professors that really stands out as a mentor and a colleague to his students, where he wants to teach and educate them, but he also wants to inspire them to chase their dreams, is Professor Michael Corybut. I started looking for jobs. I was actively looking to work in the bankruptcy field. He was a great resource of information, as well as a great person to just speak with and tell him about how my job search was going. Professor Monica Eppinger, she was fabulous. Professor Carrie Ryan really did make you want to learn tax. I think it's professors like those and so many others that really give SLU Law a special something to look forward to, because these are people who are actively rooting for you to succeed. There's a group of people here that I don't think get enough credit, and I'm going to give a special shout out to them. Miss O and the housekeeping staff. I love them. Miss O would come in and see you studying early in the morning, and she would remember who your study partners were. Her staff, they're just as eager to see you succeed as anybody else. And I think that there's something to be said that whenever it is not just the deans and the faculty and the staff, but it's also the institutional staff that want to see success in their students, that there's really something special there.
My favorite professor was Professor Walker and Professor Scarlett. They both have a very dry wit that I found amusing. Professor Walker, everybody sees his wonderful pauses. And my favorite moment from Scarlett was she told a story about how she made somebody cry during a deposition, and she's fighting the urge to smile the entire time that she's telling the story.
One of my favorite professors is probably Professor Kowach. I think that my favorite class in law school has been Trial-Ad. So I had her for Trial-Ad 1, and then also Trial-Ad 2 was one of my favorite classes with our adjunct professors, Fry and Anderson. Professor Goldstein is extremely helpful, and he even gives students his home phone number to call him, especially during finals time. Mary Pat is a phenomenal resource, whether or not you need a mini counseling session or if you need job advice, she's always there and helpful. And then Deans Barris and Dean Morris are always, their doors are always open, they're extremely helpful, they're knowledgeable in what they're doing. Everyone is, it's pretty much a home family.
I had Professor Corybut for advanced business transactions. There was one assignment that I was just like really struggling with a lot, and met with him, and he really just he was so interested in not only helping me do well on that particular assignment, but also just focused on making me feel better about graduating from law school and starting a career at a big law firm, which was something I was kind of nervous about. My favorite class here at SLU is definitely the American Presidency seminar that was taught by Professor Greg Willard. He was the personal aide to President Ford when he was in office, and so he just had this wealth of knowledge. My other favorite professor was Professor Ann Scarlett, just because she genuinely cares about every single student that takes her classes.
Something that kind of spoke to my wider time at SLU, I think, was, unsurprisingly, torts class 1L year with Professor Wilson. You know, it was our first class, our first law school class. If you've been in any of Professor Wilson's classes, you know, she can come off as intimidating, and she kind of started doing the typical Socratic kind of, firing questions at you, and it was kind of this duck and cover moment. I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is so over my head, but at the same time thinking, but I like it. Throughout the rest of the term, Professor Wilson was kind of one of the best professors I ever had here, in that, she expected a lot of us, but she was there to, guide us and mentor us. And the same could be said for any of the professors we have here. They care about the law, but they also care about their students and seeing us grow as scholars and lawyers and just people.
So I came into law school straight from undergrad and had this just idea of saving the world, but I think law school brought me to reality, or gave me a better sense of reality when it comes to practicing as an attorney, and you can change the world, but you do it in a different way. You do it a person at a time, you do it an experience at a time, and utilizing your education to help those who don't have it in whatever way that you do it, whether corporate or public service. So I think that law school humbled me, it gave me a sense of reality, and it definitely molded me with all the reading and the hard work.
One thing that law school has really helped me in, which I wasn't really foreseeing, was kind of sticking to my guns a little bit. I think overall I'm a pretty non-confrontational person, and that's still true, but I think one good thing that law school made me realize was that, the old adage, if you if you don't stand for anything, you're gonna fall for everything, and that really struck me. And also, it's a line from Hamilton, which I've been listening to a lot lately, so there's some resonance there. But in general, law school has really helped me to kind of reflect and delve internally to what do I believe in, what do I really think is important, in this life, and sink my hooks in there and kind of defend that and try to be a force for those things in which I believe.
Living in a big city like this, especially, I went to college in a really small city, being very independent really helps you grow. In law school, really, it's kind of on you. It's sink or swim, and if you want to succeed, it's all up to you.
It helped me be independent, living on my own. It helped me go out of my way to talk to people and really boosted my social skills, and just overall helped me become a better person.
For me personally, I've spent 7 years at SLU, and it's kind of scary to leave and to go out and do something new, because this has kind of like become my home, and I think a lot of people feel that way too, just because of how homey our law school is. But I think St. Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuits, says, go out and set the world on fire. And that's what our mission is as Billikens, to not stay here at SLU forever in this warm, comfortable environment, but actually go out and do something big. And so that's something I would just remind my fellow graduates of.
I would just say we made it, which is just like amazing. To think that I walked in here 3 years ago and now I'm walking out is great. I enjoyed my time as BALSA president and being involved in so many different things on SLU campus, and just know what you have. So come back, give back, mentor, and congratulations to everybody. Class of 2018, we did it.
I just really hope that everybody knows, whether it's our graduating class or anyone else, that we're always here for each other. So in the future, if someone has a problem, or if they have a client that they need help with, or really anything in life, I hope that they all know that they can count on us. Even if we weren't great friends here, I think we all have been a part of this community, and we're all gonna stick together no matter what.